Let me begin by apologizing for the short notice and for the late start, ladies and gentlemen. We've called you here today to this media briefing to provide you with a broad update on the established commissions of inquiry as announced by the President. That is the Commission of Inquiry to determine whether attempts were made to prevent the investigations and prosecutions of apartheid-era crimes chaired by Judge C.C. Kampepe, and the Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the criminal justice system chaired by Judge Madlanga. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development who will be leading us in this media briefing. She's not alone. She's accompanied by the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development as well, respectively Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi and Deputy Minister Andries Nel. Minister, without wasting time, over to you.
Thank you very much, Terence. Up front, let me apologize for my voice, and I might, in between battle, just to get some water. I'm still battling with flu, and I hope you'll pardon me in that regard. Good afternoon. As Terence has apologized, we do apologize for the delay in this matter, but we wanted to make sure that we are able to brief you fully, as these are matters of public interest, but mostly that deals with the credibility of the state and also making sure that we can be able to account transparently so to the South African population. And thus, I thank you for joining us so that we can give you an update in terms of the Kampepe Commission and the Madlanga Commission. So I'll refer them that way for ease of reference in terms of my media statement. The Kampepe Commission was announced and appointed on the 29th of May 2025 by the President, and the Madlanga Commission was appointed on the 13th of July 2025. On the 19th of August 2025, we've been able to announce and publish and gazette the regulations for both the commissions. That meant effectively that the Commission will be able to start holding their hearings and being able to do their work. But this does not mean that during the time that the gazettes were not done of the regulations, because it takes some time to have the gazettes and to make sure that the texts are correct. They had already started on the basis of the announcement by the President and announcement of the terms of reference for their work. Since the announcements of the Commission, the Ministry instructed the officials in the department to fully work with the commissions to ensure all administrative and logistical arrangements are in place. As previously stated, the department is responsible for the procurement of services for the Commission in consultation with the Chairperson and the Secretary of the Commission. I'm pleased to report that significant progress have been made in relation to both the Commission. Starting with the Commission, Madlanga Commission. The venue for the Commission has been confirmed and secured in terms of logistics, and this is in agreement with the Commission. It is Bridget Mabandla Justice College, a state-owned entity. We do not have to be utilizing private entity. This is the approach we've taken for both the commissions. On the accommodation for the Kampepe Commission, we are utilizing Saibono in Johannesburg. Justice College is in Pretoria. Saibono is in Johannesburg. Both these are public institutions. So Saibono belongs to Gauteng, run by an NGO, and thus giving us to be able to pay and save the costs similarly as well. But you'd remember that Saibono actually ran some of the commissions, so the infrastructure was already in place. All we needed to do is to procure the venue and sign the memorandum of agreement so that we can be able to deal with. With the Bridget Mabandla Justice College, we did an oversight together with the commissioners and together with the staff, some of the staff members, where needs were identified and the adjustments that needed to be done. For example, issues of entrance, issues of the venue to be used, the office space, which we gave them the floor, 2 floors to operate on, ground floor for the administration, because the Justice College is where the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development runs its training, and one floor for all the others. And we had committed in that process that the adjustments will be done working together with Public Works and Infrastructure, and that the venue will be available and suitable for commencement, which was meant for the commencement of the first. And I can report that all those are still in place in terms of meeting the deadline and being able to be finalized. The security assessment for the Justice College was done, and it was determined to be medium risk, security personnel on standby, and all other work in terms of even the guardhouse, in terms of entrance management for the public and all that has been put in place. On capacitation for the Madlanga Commission, appointments of commissioners were done. Evidence leaders appointment was done. A chief investigator and with 4 investigators done. Secretariat staff appointed. Spokespersons appointed. And this was meant for the commission to have the capacity in terms of personnel to be able to do its work. Protection for witnesses. In terms of the guidelines, we are finalizing that. But as you know, this is one of the areas that is sensitive, which will not be discussed in public. We're utilizing some of the methods that were done by the Zondo Commission, but upgrading. We were due to have a meeting with the Commission yesterday. Unfortunately, the meeting couldn't happen. We are scheduled to meet on Thursday to finalize this area of work. And that is led by myself in terms of the protection of whistleblowers or even witnesses, to ensure that those who come forward are protected, and we can be able to protect them, even immune them from the institutions that are being investigated. The major issue that we are standing at, that I will go into detail, is around ICT and tools of trade. On the tools of trade, 25 laptops have been delivered and are being configured for all those who are working for the Commission. Secure ICT infrastructure, searchable forensic data storage, cybersecurity solutions, and integrated email website services are at procurement award stage and will be concluded today. I've received a report now that it has been concluded. Cell phones have already been delivered to commissioners. Streaming services for public access are being finalized in partnership with GCIS, and this closes tomorrow in terms of procurement process. On the Khampempe, and I'll explain why the notice that we saw in the morning, what informs it if we are saying some of these things are done. On the Khampempe Commission, as I said, venue has been done and has the infrastructure. Security services are in place. The venue has been classified as a low risk. Protection services for those who are working. Both commission were protecting the commissioners and the lead investigators. And we are doing security assessment for all other people who are involved in the commission to determine their risk and also the protection that they need. Capacitation for the Khampempe Commission, appointment briefs for commissioners, evidence leaders, and investigators have been finalized and done. The secretary, spokesperson, and support staff are being phased in, but majority in place, and we expect full capacitation by the end of the week for commencement by the 1st of September. ICT and tools of trade delivered the laptops, MacBooks, delivered all those, which configuration should be completed by the 29th of August. Procurement of email and website services, streaming solutions, and secure internet connection is at advanced stage, with awards due by 28th August. Cell phones, devices for the Commissioner, Secretary, Spokesperson have been delivered. I can confirm that the Khampempe Commission will commence as announced without any further delays from the report that we have been able to receive. And I must say, consistently throughout, I've been interacting with the commissions, but more with the Madlanga Commission, literally sometimes twice a week or 3 times a week, where I interact with them, where there are problems, where we try and find solutions on them. On Friday, it was brought to my attention that the Madlanga Commission will not be able to start as envisaged for the 1st of September for their hearings. I immediately convened several meetings throughout the day of Friday, cancelled my diary, and together with some of the officials, and brought them in to be able to try and see if there are issues that we needed to resolve and how we can ensure that the 1st of September is not compromised. it was evident towards the end of the day that we will not be able to practically do that, because intervention would have meant that we violate PFMA and SEM processes that are in place. And therefore, we had to concede that we'll have to allow the administration to be able to do their work. But here, I must indicate that certain issues could have been avoided by the administrators in the department. And from the discussion with the Commission, it was indicated that for them to be able to share the work that they've been doing in terms of documents, they need a secure platform. For them to be able to submit a report which commissioners will have to go through and be able to prepare for, so that they notify the first witness to testify in time, they would have needed to do that by Wednesday, which all those are not in place as the processes are being concluded today. And that meant that they will have to delay. So we have committed to them that as we committed that all the processes will be completed today, as I report that they are completed, and we have requested them to rework and announce their starting date of their announcement. Following all this, as I got notified on Friday, I immediately reported the situation to the head of state, the president, who was traveling back from TICAT, who immediately we agreed that I'll do a full report to him, which was done by Friday. On Friday, as I did the report, I had immediately put the DDG responsible for ICT, Mr. Jabu Tlachwayo, on immediate suspension, pending a full investigation and a disciplinary process. This is because of the failures and lapses on the system, and also not being able to do due diligence and ensuring that the commission starts on time. With the report submitted, the President then communicated the request for them, and in the process, the President then delegated to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development powers to institute disciplinary proceedings against the Director General of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, Advocate Doc Mashabane, and this decision has been communicated to him this afternoon. We must, however, state that despite these challenges, the Madlanga Commission has commenced with a preliminary work that includes interaction with their witnesses. We remain committed to ensuring that Commission begins its work without further delays and to strengthening the operational efficiencies of the department to prevent similar setbacks in the future. Thank you.
Minister, the statement was comprehensive. I don't think there will be any questions. I'm kidding. Let me start by indicating that the statement will be shared with yourselves, members of the media, shortly after this media briefing. We will take questions from the floor, and we are aware that there are others who are joining on the virtual platform. We will take them afterwards. I'll take... there are 3 hands already on the floor, or 4 hands already on the floor, in that order, from Karen, Kenny, is that the light? Oh, Komozo, and then, Zoleka. All right, please introduce yourselves and the media house that you represent. Karen?
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me. Karen Morn from News 24. Minister, thank you for the transparency in your statement. You've mentioned that 2 individuals are being suspended, and of course one of them, you mentioned the head of ICT, and you've mentioned Doc Mashabane, who of course is the DG, a very senior figure within your department. And as I understand it, one of the individuals at one stage who was potentially facing a form of prosecution over the state capture inquiry evidence not being provided to the NPA. Given that there has been this alleged history or pathology of apparent obstruction or allegation of obstruction with regards to Commission's work, I mean, how serious is it that, you know, the department has decided to initiate these processes? And can you give us any insight into exactly what charges he will face? I mean, we have seen an extraordinary statement come out from the Commission essentially saying that were it not for your department, this commission would be going ahead on the 1st of September. This is something that we know the public is crying out for. It involves allegations of widespread infiltration of the criminal justice system. And your department, unfortunately, is the one that is facing the allegation that it is effectively obstructed or stopped that from happening. So in light of that, how assured are you that we aren't going to see this pathology of alleged obstruction replicating itself in the future? Thank you.
Kenny, let's keep it short.
Sure, okay. Good afternoon, Minister. Kenny Mapanga from the SABC News.
Kenny Mapanga from SABC.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, the statement that was released earlier by the Commission painted a picture that everything is now in the hands of DOJ and they'll be able to commence with their work. Following the meetings that you carried, Minister, are you able to commit to a starting date today, and what the time frame would then be from that starting date that you provide, since you've gotten this progress report on the significant delays? Thank you.
Thank you. Your comments on what you said. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
We can hear you.
It's comments on what you said from Eyewitness News. I've been covered by my colleagues in some of my questions. I just wanted, Minister, there's a sentiment that the planning for this commission of inquiry may have been a little rushed in terms of you being able to secure everything that you require to have the commission, this is the Madlanga Commission of inquiry, started. Are you feeling now in hindsight that it may have been a little rushed in your preparations? And then on the Kampepe Commission of Inquiry, you have spoken about how the commission is ready. I don't know if I missed the date, because my understanding is there hasn't been a date that's set for the Kampepe Commission to begin. If you can shed light on that. I understand that there's going to be some sort of consultation process there. Do we know when exactly the hearings, the public hearings, are going to begin? Thank you.
Zolega.
Good afternoon, Minister. Zolega Kodashi from Newsroom Africa. Excuse me. Oh. Am I audible?
You are audible. You may proceed.
It's Zolega Kodashi from Newsroom Africa. Minister, you mentioned that when you had the engagements with parties on Friday, it became evident to you that if the department were to intervene, there would be possible violations of the Public Finance Management Act if there was intervention from the department. Can you just elaborate on those? Was there an indication that there would need to be an increase in the budget? Can you just provide clarity? Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Minister.
Let me start with the last question. The discussion didn't involve increase of the budget. Actually, we've been working towards a reduction of our estimated budget. You remember that we released the amounts of what would be the estimated budgets, and where I'm sitting, I think we're still within that. We have not passed that. We don't anticipate that. The statement referencing to interventions, Minister is not allowed to be involved in procurement in terms of PFMA, neither can the commissioners. So what we were trying to do is that we should allow the department officials to be able to do their work without our interference, but also in terms of PFMA and the rules, in terms of regulations, I think it's Regulation 3, in terms of Treasury, National Treasury Instruction 3. It does prescribe how you can be able to intervene. But the issue here is that if you are to go, either you call it emergency procurement, there is a requirement and definition of what an emergency procurement is. If you are to go and do single sourcing, the process. So it's those things, looking at them to say, if you are to look at all these mechanisms that we've got, the shortened time, what does it mean? Can it be within 14 days, 7 days? Those areas, it's what we were saying. We should try and stick to within that. If we can be able to, and we allow the officials to go and do their work, because we shouldn't interfere in terms of procurement, especially as the political head, together with the Deputy Minister and other commissioners. So we wanted to allow them that space, because according to us, we would have had those things long time ago, like as in yesterday, but we couldn't because we must allow them. If you give them an instruction, then it will be an illegal instruction. And that's how it was difficult to navigate the environment of intervention. And that's what I'm trying to explain, that as you try to navigate the intervention, you're trying to make sure that you don't violate the laws. And that's why the consequence management, because there are people who are expected to ensure that things are done on time and they're not done. And one of them is the DDG responsible for ICT. On the issue, going back to Karen, I wouldn't really, because when you deal with DC matters, you can't go and fetch things 20 years ago or 10 years ago that you did not deal with. So the issue is that the reports would have been, one, it's the issue that, another issue is that the contract of the DG is coming to an end in February next year. So there was communication to him that we intend not to extend the contract or to renew. With this now coming through, because I had communicated that with the president, and that was communicated to him prior, so he was aware that his contract will not be extended. So following all these issues that I had to write the report, and I don't want to go into detail. I can't in public deal with labor matters in the manner that you want me. I can't say these are the charges that you're going to face and all those things. And whatever that the conversation, as I said, we started the conversation this afternoon with him. So I had to notify him that I've received a letter from the president that delegates me powers to take disciplinary action following my report. And we'll take it from there. So I still have to write him a formal letter today and send it to him, which he has to respond to, and we'll take the process there. What I can assure you is that from our side, as I've done since the beginning, I've been playing an oversight role to monitor. That's why almost everything else has been done, whether it's the venue, and we've made sure that the venues, even because we looked at what public has said previously, to say you are using a lot of money, spending a lot of money in this thing, suggestion, even from political parties, to say, Minister, go find venues that belongs to government, and that's what we have done, and keeping the costs. The issues of administration in terms of appointment, we have allowed the commission to appoint the people. So what they do, they source, and then we are able to appoint. This we are trying to avoid. Previously, you would have heard that the department would ordinarily second individuals to the commission. In cognizance of the sensitivity of this commission, especially Madlanga Commission, we've ensured that we don't second individuals because we are also a subject of investigation. So that we have done to immune the commission from interference by ourselves. And that's why when we talk about even the issue of protection of whistleblowers, so that we're looking beyond what the state and those that normally provide to see what mechanisms can we be able to do, so that you don't say a witness in the commission then ends up in the hands of the same people that they are testifying against. So we're doing that as well. We're finalizing that. We're working together. We're making suggestions to the commission. So as I say, there's others which are at my level that I have conversations with the commission, and there will be almost like administrative work that is at the level of the officials. Both the DDG responsible for court administration, infrastructure, and DDG for infrastructure and also corporate services are interacting with the commissions regularly. And that's what I can say. And they've been providing reports, and where there are blockages, they've been able to report so that I can have a meeting with the commission so that we can clear the issues. So I can assure you that from the department point of view, there wouldn't be interference. We've made sure that we've been pushing to get, we don't interfere, but we request you put a deadline to say this is what I want by this date, and for them to go and make sure that that is happening. And that's why we can report today that all the procurement that was outstanding around ICT, which is the major hurdle that caused us to be where we are, has been resolved. In terms of both the commission's announcement of the public hearing dates, I wouldn't be able to, I'm not allowed to. It's the work of the commission. After we report to them to say this is the work that we have done, they look themselves in terms of their schedule, what they need to do, because as I said, evidence leaders must say this is what the lead time we want, and therefore the date is that. So we'll allow them to announce their new date following our report in terms of where we are, what they've asked us to do, and what we have done. I think they should be able to communicate that. definitely, as a, we will have to, because if we look at the time frame, the expectation was that the commission will start in a particular day, and then within 3 months, they will provide a preliminary report. We have been, I have advised the president that the preliminary report will not be at the date that he expected, and we will, because we are, as the minister, I do the presidential minute to be able to advise, so we will put the dates, because at least we've set the 3 months and the 6 months. So all we need to do is that we will have to work the date from the commencement, and that's what we are doing between ourselves, the commission and the presidency. But I do not expect a too much extension. The president is not interested in long extension. He has been very clear. That's why he's called for consequence management in most of the work. Khomotso asked about whether we can say that there's been rushed. I think there are two things, and one of the areas that I've made a recommendation to the president is that we're going to have to do a document-based guide of what are the things that needs to be approved up front for commissions of inquiries. Somebody will say to me, but you should have learned, you've had a lot of commission of inquiries over time, and therefore you guys shouldn't be battling. I guess it's the issue that the nature and type of commission changes over time, but there are things that should be standard. For example, already identifying venues that can be used, staff that we can be able to train over time, that would know how to administer the commission so that we don't self-secretariat every time we look for them. The procurement of services in terms of legal, even including building capacity within the state to be able to run this commission. It's one of the things that I'm looking at. And also finally setting the price limit of any commission upfront so that we can protect state funds. Thank you very much.
At this stage, may I check, Bra Ishmael, do we have any questions from the virtual platform?
No questions for now, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, maybe can we take the second round from the floor? I see one hand there, Ms. Lindela. Yeah, maybe those two hands, and then we'll take it from there.
Minister, as you are aware, time is of the essence when it comes to the Madlanga Commission. There is a point of litigation in court against the president, and a delay has been one of the points that have been raised against the president in a move to try and set aside the establishment of this commission. Just a comment from you, how important it is for the department, or how vital it is for the department to sort out everything. Secondly, Minister, you talk about the procurement processes almost being at the end. Do you know when the department will conclude everything in terms of the procurement? Thank you.
Linda.
Thank you. Linda Domasina from ENTA. Minister, I would just like clarity on the suspension of the DG. Why has he been suspended? Maybe I missed it. Is it because of the delays in the starts of these commissions, or are there other issues pertaining to his suspension, which has led to this announcement today? And secondly, just how disappointed are you then in the fact that the Madlanga Commission won't be starting on the date that was set? Thank you.
Minister.
Sorry. My apologies. I am disappointed, like many South Africans. You'd understand that in the TRC Commission, at least we are clear there, not much issues. We are implicated as the portfolio in terms of allegation that there would have been blockage of prosecution of apartheid crimes. Again, on the Madlanga Commission, because it's a JCPS, which we are members of. If you remember, General Mkhwanazi made reference even to prosecutors Now, part of what we're looking for, including myself as a minister, is to look at rebuilding the brand of NPA, for example, rebuilding the brand, and also building confidence in JCPS. I'm co-chairperson of the JCPS cluster. And if this is not done and concluded in time, continues to have a cloud over our heads as JCPS, and therefore impede on our work, but also it can act as a demoralization for men and women who are committed within the JCPS cluster to work effectively. So it is a disappointment that we couldn't. That's why I say I literally cancelled everything on Friday. And at that time, I was working around the clock hoping to save the day and to be able to just get the commission to start with public hearings on the 1st. It doesn't mean that other work has not been done. The work continues in other areas. As I said, that you do have interactions by evidence leaders. That's the report I've received. With witnesses, we don't know who, we are not told, we don't get to be told, but we just know that the work has been done. Now, we would have hoped that, and for me, I think the comfort will be when I was saying to Justice Madlanga this morning, I think I'll have a breather. The day when I open my TV in the morning, I see him on screen doing the first person witness on the hearings, similarly with the Mmamoloko Commission. So it is a disappointment, but we are on course. Like many South Africans, President is committed. He wants, that's why he said he wants an explanation. He asked us to go public and explain in a most transparent and accountable manner to say what has led to where we are and consequences that we are doing. Because it can't be that something like this as major happens and no one takes responsibility or no one is held accountable. So it's one of those things that we are looking at to do as the organization, and rebuilding our confidence and rebuilding public confidence in our work, but also committing. I am sure that the commission will announce sooner their announcement. Initially, how we planned it, I must say, from Friday was that we will wait for the president to give us a directive. The commission will wait for the minister to issue a statement and communicate, and then when they communicate with the date. It's unfortunate that the statement of the commission went before ours, despite our appeal to them. For whatever reason that happened. And we had set out chronological way of doing things so that we don't confuse the public, but we also are able to give certainty. So it would have been, in terms of our planning, that the president would make the decisions. I would come out, or even the statement from the president, I would come out and communicate the decisions, and then the commission then reaffirms their work and also communicate their dates. So we're hoping that still today, perhaps the commission can go out and communicate their dates based on the information that we have provided of the update where we are, and give certainty of the date of commencement. That's what we are expecting. On the issue of litigation, I don't want to get into detail of it, but I don't think it is something that we are worried about. This is the powers that the president has in terms of the constitution to deal with matters, and will continuously defend that matter in court should the need arise, whenever it does, and we will be able to close that issue around. Thank you.
Minister, sorry, just on a point of clarity, you mentioned now that you would ask the Commission, as I understand it, will correct me if I'm wrong, not to release the statement that they released this morning. Can you give us some insight into why you made that request? And are you at all concerned that them releasing the statement in the way that they have, and also articulating to some degree, arguably a degree of distrust for the department, speaks to a kind of potential breakdown of relationship there, or am I overblowing it? No, you are overblowing it. There'll never be a breakdown of relationship. We're holding each other accountable, quite frankly, quite open. Many people know me, I'm very robust in engagements. And I don't have ego, so feedback, I do take it where there are weaknesses. We've accepted the weaknesses. And from me as the executive authority, I've accepted the weaknesses, and I've assured them that I will act. What I would have expected for them is to give me the courtesy
to allow me to be able to completely communicate to the public in a transparent manner, openly, but also not to kill public trust in the state organs and in government. But similarly, this commission is the commission of the president. So I can't go out and publicly communicate without the president's authority. It's not Minister Kubayi's commission. It's President Ramaphosa's commission. So whatever I needed to communicate, which I informed the commission, I needed to get authority from the president. I copied Justice Madlanga, the report I sent to the president. So they were not blindsided about what I'm raising, and the report was quite frank and open and acknowledged. I even apologized to the president as the minister to say it happened under my watch. I do apologize, Mr. President, and I'm going to make sure that systems are in place. I'm going to play more robust oversight without interfering and compromising systems, PFMA, but we do assure that we'll do our best to ensure that the commission can commence. So that we have done, and they were aware. That's why I'm saying it was unfortunate that the statement went out in the manner that it did. I don't think I would have, I would have said they shouldn't say certain contents that they want, but I think giving us courtesy, especially because I've been very cooperative with them. They can get hold of me over my WhatsApp. They can call me anytime. I've been responsive to their email. Even less than 2 hours of what they send to me, I'm responding to them. I found it very unfair, what they've done.
Minister, the colleague's question, Lindelo, on the reasons for suspending the DG.
I can't discuss labor matters in public. I'm informing the public that following what we have been able to evaluate between myself and the head of state, as the person who's the appointing authority, he has delegated the powers to me to be able to institute disciplinary proceedings. That's far I can go. Once we have done the work, and as I said that we have only communicated this afternoon to the DG, we still have to make it in writing, and therefore out of that, then later communications will come out.
Minister, made to believe there's a written question. Ishmael, do you want to read that for us? And I see, Linda, you have a follow-up question, and I think that will be the last round, Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We have a question and a comment from the Mmamoloko Kubayi from Full View. Minister, I think the Commission statement was misleading. It created unnecessary confusion. However, given the clarity from the Minister, do we have an exact day when Madlanga Commission is going to start? Thank you.
Smith, your follow-up question?
Yes, Minister, it's a follow-up to my question, because just with all due respect, you've given us some reasons as to why perhaps the DDG of ICT has been suspended, because clearly the Commission can't go forward because those things are not in place. I think that it would be nice to take the nation into your confidence as to what the DG has done or hasn't done in this particular case. Thank you.
The DDG received his letter on Friday. So in terms of labor process, I've got to do that process first. Normally government loses cases not because they don't have a case to fight, but because they've flaunted the procedures. So allow me not to flaunt procedures and discuss what would be in the contents of the letter that goes to the DG this afternoon. We'll take the nation into confidence once the processes have been done. That's why I'm asking that we are acting as per the letter by the President. I couldn't do anything without the letter. Whatever that might or have been my views and whatever are superseded by the decision of the President. The contents thereof of that letter of the President will direct as well the areas that he wants me to focus on, and those will be in the contents of the letter that goes to the Director General. As I say, I cannot discuss that in detail. We will update the nation as time goes. And we could safely say with the DDG, because the DDG was afforded a process, and by Friday evening, he was suspended with immediate effect. He received his letter, he acknowledged his letter, and that process is underway. So it's easier to talk about that because it has been at an advanced stage where we can talk about the contents. On the issues around the date, unfortunately, as I said earlier on, I'm not allowed to be the one that dictates to the Commission when can they start. Our responsibility is to ensure that what they require to do their work is in place with the timeframes that we have provided. They will look at what they have, as we have disclosed openly and transparently, that the only thing that was outstanding was the ICT, and that we have concluded today. All other work is done, and I hope the spokesperson of the Commission can take the media tour to the venues, both the commissions, if they can take the medias to the tour, so that they can see for themselves in a transparent manner that the minister is not making statements only. These venues do exist, banners have been done, everything is set, so that's what I can say.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, that's all the time we had for today. I would like to take this moment and thank our minister and the deputy minister. Importantly, let me thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the media, for gracing us with your time. GCI's colleagues for the support, and team from the department. Thank you so much. Minister, thank you.
Thank you.
The statement will be shared in shortly.
I must not be taking a picture with that mask, please. And then I start trending. This one's better. Virtual. Yeah, virtual. I need to finish in the